Ladies and gentlemen, they don't want the truth. They do not want the truth. This is Politico. Pelosi tells Dems she'll reject highly classified briefing on Mueller findings. Speaker Nancy Pelosi told Democrats she'll rebuff any efforts by the Justice Department to reveal details of Special Counsel Robert Mueller's findings in a highly classified setting. A tactic she warned could be employed to shield the report's conclusions from the public. What? If anything, one would think you would want a highly classified setting so you could connect the dots of Trump working with a hostile foreign nation. One would think that a classified setting would be everything you need. I mean, my God. Could you imagine if we had a classified setting that the United States of America, the citizens of this country, could actually look at it would be declassified, but classified documents pertaining to James Baker wanting to indict Clinton while it was taking place, the Clinton email scandal, but James Comey overruling James Baker, the top legal counsel, Lisa Page wanting to indict Clinton, the fact that there was a consent agreement between Peter Strzok and the FBI and the Clinton Foundation regarding emails. Those emails were forbidden for the FBI to look at. The FBI actually had an agreement. They signed consent agreements stating that they had no authority to look at Foundation emails. Must be nice to be Bill and Hillary. I mean, could you imagine all the classified information we could derive, we could find out in a closed-door setting regarding the overt cover-up of James Comey, Strzok, Page, all of them pertaining to the Clinton Foundation or Clinton email investigation, and also, of course, the Mueller probe. How many times did you hear Rod Rosenstein say, it's an ongoing investigation, it's classified. Peter Strzok, ongoing investigation, ongoing. But so, you would want to be privy, you would want to find out the inner workings of the Mueller probe in a classified setting. Speaker Nancy Pelosi told Democrats on Saturday she'll rebuff any efforts by the Justice Department to reveal details of Special Counsel Robert Mueller's findings in a highly classified setting. She worried the Justice Department would seek to disclose Mueller's conclusions to the so-called Gang of Eight, the top Democrats and Republicans in the House and Senate, which handles the nation's most sensitive secrets. Everyone pounded the transparency drum continuously. Pelosi said it was her briefing that it was her belief that the finding of the report should be unclassified. A consistent theme from Democrats who said they wanted Attorney General William Barr to share virtually every scrap of paper connected to the Mueller report with Congress. They lost. This is a political defeat. They lost. It is a monumental defeat. It's the biggest defeat politically for Democrats since they lost the 2016 election. And they will lose again. Clinton will be running. She'll lose again. But check out my last segment. And she'll eventually get indicted. Check out the segment before that one. But I've been saying for 2 years on this channel and in my writing that it's a bunch of nonsense. The Clinton email probe was a cover-up. I wrote about that. And the Mueller probe, the day Mueller was appointed, check out the segment on YouTube in the pinned comment. I stated if they won't find anything, it's nonsense. There was no Trump-Russia collusion. It never happened. And now we're finding out there's no further indictments. Trump is not going to get indicted. Trump Jr. is not going to get indicted. Why? Because why would you go to jail because of a dossier that was purchased by Hillary Clinton? The two main pieces of evidence here are the Steele dossier and CrowdStrike. And Democrats can't accept defeat. They don't look. They don't even want a classified setting to hear or to read the Mueller report. They want everything declassified. It isn't that interesting. When it was Rod Rosenstein and Mark Meadows and DeSantis and Nunes, when Devin Nunes wanted to declassify the FISA report, the warrants, Adam Schiff said, oh my God, the sources and methods. You're going to hurt this country's sources and methods. How dare it? This is a national security issue. Democrats are hilarious. They preside over the biggest national security blunders, the biggest political defeats, and then they just roll back into the same propaganda. Because there's people, the establishment Democrats view themselves to be these Kennedy Cold Warrior, these old Cold Warriors like Kennedy and they're so into national security that they had top secret intelligence and special access program intelligence on servers outside of the United States government, which is what Clinton had, numerous servers. Then they preside over the sale of 20% of U.S. uranium capacity to Vladimir Putin, in which President Obama could have vetoed the sale. He did not. Then they destroyed Libya in a failed NATO intervention. Then, of course, they love NATO. Then they made no attempt at peace between North and South Korea, or with North Korea, and now President Trump is presiding over the beginning of peace between North and South Korea. And he's bringing home Americans from endless counterinsurgency conflicts. And you have, by the way, where's Bernie Sanders? Where's Bernie Sanders the past 2 years? How about so far up the Democratic Party's behind that he probably forgot he was cheated and that $200 million of his voters' money went to the Hillary 2020 fund, or the Hillary 2016, or actually went to the Steele dossier. The interesting thing is, when Mueller indicted the Russian nationals, which is hilarious, because they're probably laughing the most, because they know that Facebook ads didn't swing the election. In 2015, I said that Clinton would lose. Said she was unelectable. People thought I was nuts. But the best thing about this, when it was Mueller time and he indicted Russian intelligence officers for hacking the DNC, all the foundation of the accusations of the indictments were based on CrowdStrike information. CrowdStrike, a tech company that was outsourced by Democrats. The United States government has never confirmed whether or not the DNC was hacked by Russia or anybody else. The United States government cannot say with certainty. Now, the rebuttal is, there's a unanimous confirmation. No, it's a unanimous confirmation of an assessment of confidence. They're 100% certain that they're very confident, based on a CrowdStrike imaging and copies of DNC servers. Why would you trust? I mean, Democrats would never trust an RNC company to tell the U.S. government what happened with Republican servers. Why didn't, when Trump was accused of having a back channel with his server, with I believe it was Alpha Bank or some bank in Moscow, James Comey didn't allow Trump to hire a third-party tech firm. It didn't happen. He just went in and just Humphrey Bogart and just took the Trump Tower server. No. When it was DNC, he was like, "Can I take your servers?" Okay, no problem. And they relied on CrowdStrike. So all of this is nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. But where's Bernie Sanders? Bernie Sanders is supposed to be this progressive, the Huffington Post called me the biggest Bernie Sanders booster on the internet. The Washington Post called me the unofficial scribe of Sanders' most hardcore voters. I used to be. I'm now a Trump supporter. I'm voting for Trump in 2020. But you have to ask yourself, what kind of progressive icon would further a myth, a xenophobic, McCarthy-era Cold War Red Scare hoax that implicates him and Jill Stein. How stupid and cowardly do you have to be, if you're Bernie Sanders, to actually further the myth? I think one of his tweets was like, oh yeah, Hillary wasn't just going up against Trump, she was going up against the Russian government. And then he continued to talk about Trump, Russia, continued. You do yourself no favors. You're like, I mean, the guy's like the Democratic Party doormat. When Clinton eventually becomes the nominee, they'll cheat for her again or whatever. She runs the show, so he'll then say, okay, vote for Hillary, and we'll fight the 1% with Hillary Clinton, who is like the 0.01 of 1%. But anyway, they don't want classified information. This is the only political party that spent 2 years talking about, oh my God, the walls are closing in, the walls are closing in, the walls are closing in. And it's like, oopsie. Oops. Gosh. Oops. You know, the walls are closing in. You finally get what you wanted, a report. Mueller, what did they think Mueller was going to do? Just investigate forever? There was nothing to investigate. The whole thing was purchased by Clinton. You don't think she's running in? Of course she is. But they don't want the classified intelligence because it doesn't fit their narrative. Because then they'll have to say, oh, well, you know, it said this. They want to show the public everything. But the hilarious thing is that William Barr is going to rewrite and summarize everything. They're not even going to get Mueller's actual, like, you think they're going to get, like, Dear Congress, my name is Robert Mueller, and Trump was a very bad person with the Facebook and the Twitter, and he worked with the Putin. Don't worry about the yellow cake uranium that was shipped out of the country while Robert Mueller was FBI director. That's according to the New York Times. Cash flow to Clinton Foundation amid Russian uranium deal. Why did President Obama fail to veto the uranium sale? Any guess? To Putin, to a hostile foreign nation. I mean, who believes this? Who believes this? You have people in the Democratic Party who are like friends of mine. They're professionals, they're doctors, they're attorneys, they're just, good, doctors, great people, very intelligent. They love the environment, so very important. The environment is important. President Obama presided over the largest expansion of oil and gas domestic production in U.S. history. What? And then they're like, well, he did, he worked with Russia. He worked with Russia. Do you really? I mean, the intelligence community believes so. Yeah, they're a bunch of liars, and they never get anything right. Okay, the bookie, those lead pipe lock. It's Steelers +7. Michigan State over Notre Dame. Watch it. Those lead pipe lock pick, like those college football, gambling sites. They have a better track record than the wonderful intelligence community that we have. They can't get anything right, and nor can they ever predict anything. Did they predict any? Have you ever heard the intelligence community in this country predict anything? That's why the whole dumb LMNOP thing, it's a secret, it's agents and then going through the MySpace. No. If indeed there were secret agents, intelligence officials, rest assured they're completely clueless on everything. They're clueless. They're clueless on everything. They're political in nature. That's mostly what they do, and a small part is intelligence gathering. And the intelligence they do gather is quickly used for political purposes. But you had 2 years. You had 2 years of a Mueller probe. It was a stunning... It was a stunning political collapse. We're talking like the political version of the Titanic or Waterloo or whatever. It's like the Hindenburg. The Democrats constantly find new ways to collapse. And they're too stupid to realize that they're losing. They're like, well, you know what? We want transparency. It's like everyone's laughing and mocking you, and you're busy mocking the Republicans, and the whole world is like, what? What are you doing for 2 years? And by the way, who pumped these conspiracy theories? Because really, that's what they are. Who are the YouTubers and who are the people who, on cable, who push this? Trump, the walls are closing in. Michael Cohen's going to flip. He's going to flip and sing. And Gates is going to flip and sing. And Manafort's going to flip and sing. And everyone's going to flip and sing. And nobody flipped and sang. Nobody did, because there was nothing to flip and sing about. You want to see when it flipping, and you want to see the new Mary Lou Retton? It'll be Andrew McCabe. The second he gets indicted, the dominoes will fall eventually, and Clinton will eventually get indicted. She's gonna run. You think? I love when people are like, she's not running. She knows better. She knows. It would be ridiculous for her to run. Do you think she gives a what you think? Do you think Clinton gives a what you think? What anyone else thinks? Do you think she has any semblance of shame? Do you think that she'd be worried about her image? Like I explained in my last segment, they live in the Matrix. They don't realize it yet. They think that they're like, no, but it's like, they're all linked. Democrats and people who vote for Hillary are all linked in some way to Hillary in this fantasy world that they live in. So Trump worked with Russia, Hillary's qualified, everything is, Bernie was given every chance to win. / Bernie is a big problem. The environment's a big issue, even though, you should thank Obama, apparently, for the domestic oil production. And she's very qualified. They live in that world. It's all like the Matrix. They live in a Matrix. It's a fantasy world that they're all linked into the same program emanating from the Clintons. They don't realize it. They actually think that they have that they can control the future of whatever they think their political party is. They're like, well, we just need new people. You're funny. You're really funny. You think that you have any control over your fate? Once Clinton decides to run, and she formally announces, which she will, everyone will fall in line, lockstep, straight off the cliff again. Like lemmings, the lemmings they are. And the same people who on the left who are like, I don't really like Clinton. She just, I never liked her. I know. They'll again say, and then they'll do this. I know, because I used to be. They'll say, if you don't just hold your nose. This is all the wonderful ways they get people to fall in line like a cult. Hold your nose. Hold your nose. Hold your nose. Hold your nose and vote. Okay? If you don't, you are a supremacist tiki person. And you're helping the orange monster. You know what? You're worse than a Trump supporter if you don't. You're essentially Trump. So that's like the biggest fear of people on the left is being called Trump supporter. I support President Trump. I'm voting for him in 2020. I'm very happy with this president. He's a good president. Is he perfect? No. Is he a lot better than President Obama? Objectively. In terms of foreign policy, much better. Economy's much better. We can go on forever. But anyway, 2 years, nothing, absolutely nothing. And it's a stunning political defeat, which is hilarious. And what do they have? They have nothing. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe. Pelosi and Democrats reject classified briefings. They want... It's funny. They hide behind ongoing investigations, classified material. They don't want anything declassified in terms of FISA warrants or why the Steele dossier was used, how the Clinton email scandal was covered up. That is classified, but the Mueller report must be declassified. They have no value system. It's only a quest for power and influence. If the government works on their side, the intelligence community, in Mueller time, when Mueller comes out, he's like, I got nothing else, okay? It's like, did nothing happen? What do you want me to do? They're like, oh my God, it didn't work out for us. We hate the government now, oh my God. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe. Check out HA2A. I'll be uploading segments later today. New ones. Glock 29 10mm. Pretty cool segment. And also check out my writing in the Federalist, the Daily Call of the Jerusalem Post, and my HA2A segments below. My Patreon is below if you want to support this channel and my voice long term.